Hello. So I did one of these videos last week and I sent it out via email and posted on Instagram and my YouTube channel. And apparently it really resonated with quite a few of you. So I'm going to do a few more and just see where this little journey takes us. So that being said, today I just wanted to talk a little bit about a philosophy that I often use in my coaching, and it seems like it's come up quite a bit recently in different sessions and things. And that philosophy is that you are both the art and the artist. And so where that comes from and why I love to use that so much is, well, it really originated just from my love for art in general. And I love going to art museums and just wandering around and just being in kind of that spaciousness and that feeling of presence and energy that you get when you go to an art museum, and just being able to kind of just be free to move around and see what really resonates with you and what comes up for you. And I think it's really interesting to always think about kind of the psychology and the thought process behind each of the artists that created that piece that you're now standing in front of, and how they moved that thought or that figment of their imagination into a feeling and kind of through their subconscious. And a lot of artists, I would say, if not all artists, are really able to access that subconscious mind and those deep, deep feelings and emotions, whether they're aware of it or not. And then they moved those emotions and feelings out through their hands into that beautiful work of art that you are now standing in front of. And I think that's just really beautiful, that whole process. And I think it's also fascinating that none of us see the same work of art in the same way. So I'm going to see a piece much differently than somebody else would. And, maybe I'm going to pass by a lot of pieces that you would stop and stare at or would really speak to you. But there's another piece that I'm really just drawn to. And, I spend a lot of time just standing in front of it, absorbing it, and letting it speak to me. So you are always going to see the world in that way that you've created it, in that perception. And you're always going to see what you want to see, feel what you need to feel, and understand what you really came to understand when it comes to art. And I think that message can be translated to each of us. So we are all our own artist, right? We are constantly creating our world and our lifestyle and just, the universe that we live in through the same way that a traditional artist would, through our thoughts, and then moving it through our emotions and then outward, through the body and into the world. And that cycle is continuous. You are constantly doing it and participating in that movement. But you're also the art. So what you're creating and what you've imagined and what you've moved out into the world is now your art that you are presenting to the world and to others. And just like a piece of art, everyone that comes by in your life is going to have a different version of you and a different perception of you based on their life and their past experiences and their memories and their emotions and their view of the world. And so as the artist, it's so important to remember that you can only control the version of you that you're creating. And you have no control over others' perceptions of your art. And just like, somebody quickly moving by in a museum and, they might catch a glimpse of a piece of art, and that's the same as a passerby in the street. They have one version of that art and it's very short and maybe just a fleeting moment. And then maybe you have an interaction with the barista at a coffee shop and you exchange a laugh and a bit of friendly words. And so there's another version of you. And you have your siblings or your best friend or your parents or your spouse. These are all different versions of you. And they are all different levels of understanding and of knowing you and just stopping to study you and be a part of your life. And so just like that art in that museum, you can't control those versions of yourself. You are responsible for the art as the artist. And those who really want to be a part of your life and who are really drawn to your art and what you've created will always stop and stay. And those who are not compelled by your art and your work will carry on and will find other pieces that speak to them and resonate deeply with them. So I just want to leave you with that today.